All right, so today we're diving into something called pranic healing. It's this really fascinating practice that looks at the bridge, that connection between what we feel emotionally and how our bodies actually heal.
I mean, think about it. We all say things like, my heart is broken or I have butterflies in my stomach. But have you ever stopped to wonder why? Why do these feelings, these emotions, have such real physical sensations? It's definitely not just in your head. And that connection, well, that's the key to unlocking a much deeper layer of our health. So how exactly do we connect the dots between a feeling and our physical body? Well, the answer lies in a kind of anatomy you probably never learned about in biology class. We're talking about the body's unseen, energetic structure. Okay, so the core idea behind pranic healing is that we actually have two bodies. You've got the physical one, the one we see in the mirror, but then there's this other one, the bioplasmic body. You can think of it like a living, luminous energy field. Some people call it the aura, that completely interpenetrates our physical form and even extends beyond it. It's like the energetic blueprint for our physical self. And here's the really crucial part. Every single emotion you experience, joy, anger, sadness, you name it, isn't just a thought in your head, it's actual energy. And that energy gets stored in this bioplasmic body, which means it's directly influencing the health of your physical organs and tissues. They're totally connected. So, this energetic anatomy has a few key parts. First, you have the aura, which is that big energy field all around you. Then, you have the chakras. Think of these as little power stations that are constantly pulling in life force, or what we call prana. And finally, you've got the meridians, which are like the body's energetic wiring, zipping that prana all through your system. Okay, but how on earth do we know which emotions are affecting which parts of the body? It seems so complex, right? Well, lucky for us, there's an ancient and incredibly detailed map for that, and it comes from systems like traditional Chinese medicine. You see, for literally thousands of years, traditional Chinese medicine, or TCM, has operated on the principle that your emotional health and your organ function are completely inseparable. They're two sides of the same coin. And TCM gives us this amazing framework called the 5-element cycle, which shows us exactly where different kinds of emotions tend to hang out in the body. And what's just wild is how specific this system gets. Take a look. TCM connects anger and rage with the wood element, which rules the liver and gallbladder. Makes you think about the phrase liverish with rage, right? Deep sadness and grief, that's linked to the metal element, which affects the lungs and colon. And that feeling of persistent fear, that's the water element, tied directly to the kidneys. Every single emotion has its own energy signature and a physical home where it tends to build up. So what happens when we don't process these intense emotions, when we just stuff them down? Well, it's like putting a kink in a garden hose. You create a blockage in your energy channels, and that disrupts the flow of prana. So now you've got one area that's all congested with stagnant, gunky energy, while another area is totally depleted. And that imbalance, that right there, is often the energetic root cause of physical sickness. And look, this isn't just some ancient theory. Modern science is totally catching up to this. Western medicine now actually recognizes something called broken heart syndrome. It has a medical name and everything, Takotsubo cardiomyopathy. It's where extreme emotional distress can cause severe but temporary weakness in the heart muscle. The crazy part? The trigger isn't a clogged artery. It's purely emotional. It's a perfect modern example of this whole field called psychoneuroimmunology, which is literally the study of how our minds and emotions directly impact our physical bodies. Okay, so if all this emotional energy can create these blockages, the big question is, how do we clear them out? And that's where we get to the core principles of pranic healing, which is all about restoring that healthy, balanced flow of energy. The whole process is actually beautifully simple. It really boils down to two main steps. First up is cleansing. This is where a healer literally uses their hands to kind of sweep away all that congested, heavy, diseased energy from the aura and the affected chakras. And then, step 2 is energizing. Once the area is clean, you project fresh, vital prana right back into that spot to fill it up and revitalize it. You can really think of it as energetic hygiene. It's just common sense, right? You wouldn't paint a dirty wall. You'd clean it first. Well, healing our energy body is the exact same idea. You've got to clear out the old, stagnant stuff before you can bring in the fresh, healing energy.
Now, advanced pranic healing gets even more precise. It actually uses different colors of prana because each color has its own unique properties and frequency. For really deep-seated emotional stuff, a specific color like electric violet prana is often used. The idea is that it has this super high-frequency vibration that can literally dissolve and shatter those stubborn old energetic patterns, right down to the cellular level. Some researchers even talk about this as clearing the liquid crystal memory stored in our cell membranes. We're talking about a deep, deep cleanse. I know this might all sound a little out there or complex, but there's actually a pretty simple way you can start to get a feel for your own energy. And it all begins with understanding your body's main diagnostic hub. And that hub is the solar plexus chakra. It's located just below your sternum, and it basically acts as the body's energetic clearinghouse. It's the main center for processing all those gut-level emotions, stress, anger, anxiety. And because it's right there in the middle, it also plays a massive role in sending energy to all your digestive organs. That's why it's so often the first place to get all clogged up or drained, which makes it the perfect spot to check in and see what's going on with your energy. And you can actually learn to feel this for yourself right now. First, just sensitize your hands by rubbing them together pretty fast until you feel that warmth and tingling. Now, take your non-dominant hand and just hold it a few inches away from your solar plexus. In your mind, just divide that area up into 4 quadrants. Now, really slowly, gently scan your palm over each quadrant. The key is just to notice any sensations without judging them. You might feel, a bit of pressure, maybe some heat or cold or even a tingling. These little sensations are clues. They can tell you a lot about your emotional state and which of those elemental energies we talked about might be a little out of whack.
All right, so once you know what's going on, what can you do to keep your energy system clear and avoid that feeling of burnout? Well, the final piece of the puzzle is building a simple daily routine for energetic self-care.
Look, simple and consistent habits are what make the biggest difference. We're talking about things like the golden ball qigong technique, which is great for physically moving and circulating stagnant energy, or using quick meditations to calm your mind and really support your center. Even just doing some deep, rhythmic pranic breathing can give your whole system a major cleanse. And learning how to regularly clear your aura helps you deal with daily stress before it has a chance to build up and create those kinks in the hose. And what's the goal of all this? Well, if we circle back to that TCM model, it's all about strengthening your center, your earth element. When your earth element is strong, you feel grounded. You can still feel all your emotions, of course, but you're not trapped or overwhelmed by any single one. You're able to respond to whatever life throws at you with a sense of calm and clarity. At the end of the day, systems like pranic healing are just maps. They aren't meant to be rigid rules. The real invitation, and I think this quote from the Buddha says it perfectly, is to explore it for yourself, to experiment, to feel it, and to only hold on to what you personally find to be true and helpful for your own well-being. So the real question is, what might you discover if you started listening not just to your thoughts, but to the actual energy of your feelings?